Hi, this is Sai Sawshetty and I'm a legal intern at Lexan Company. So today I'm going to talk about the essentials of a valid contract. Before knowing the essentials, we should know what is a contract and what is an agreement. What are the difference between the two? So we know that every promise or every set of promises which forms some consideration will term as an agreement. And this has been given in section 2E of the Indian Contract Act. A person who is making a proposal will said that he is making an offer, and the one who accepts it will be said that they have done some sort of promise. So from this we conclude that offer and acceptance will make promise. So when A offers B that A will sell house to B when B pays him rupees 1 lakh. Over here, the offer that A has given, when it will be accepted by B, then it will be called as a promise. So what is the meaning of agreement? When this set of promises is done for some consideration, then this will be called as agreement. Only a mutual promise forming some part of consideration for each other will be called as agreement. We came to know that from this that when offer is made and acceptance is done, then it will form a promise, and when the promise will be coupled with some consideration, that will be called as an agreement. So now the question comes, what is a contract? An agreement which is enforceable by law is called as a contract. And this has been given in section 2H of the Indian Contract Act. There must be a legal relationship. Any agreement for social or economic or domestic nature are not contract. For example, if I invite someone to my birthday party, then that will be not called as an invitation or offer, or that will not consider as an agreement. So agreement which are social or domestic in nature will never form a contract. There are two parties to a contract. One is the promisor and second one is the promisee. The promisee is the person who is receiving certain promise from the promisor, and the promisee is the person who has been promised of something, as opposed to the promiser who makes the promise to someone. So now let's come to the elements of a valid contract. The first one is there should be a proper offer and acceptance. Second, there should be a lawful object. Third, the agreement should not be expressly declared void. And the fourth one is intention to create legal relationship. Fifth one is the free consent. And sixth one is capacity of parties to form a contract. And seventh one is certainty of meaning attached to the contract. Eight is possibility of performing the contract, and ninth one is lawful consideration, and 10th one is legal formalities. So there are many essential elements of a valid contract. So let's talk about these essentials in detail. The first one is offer and acceptance. In a contract, there should be a lawful offer by one party and lawful acceptance by the other party on the same topic. Like if I'm saying that I'll sell my house to B, then B should accept that yes, he will take my house for some consideration that he will give me. Second one is intention to create legal relation. Agreement which create legal relation are capable of creating a contract. For example, invitation to a dinner doesn't create any legal relationship, and therefore it is not a contract. Even in the husband and wife agreement, the court has said domestic agreement between husband and wife will not be considered as a valid contract because these are mere social agreements. Third thing, consideration. Consideration means something in return. That when promiser is promising to do something, in the return promisee also have to do something for the promiser. Like example, if I want to sell my house to B and there B has to give me something in return of my house, that amount is called as consideration, that he will pay me for buying my house. The fourth one is capacity of the parties. Capacities meaning like the parties to a contract should be major, they should not be minor. The parties to a contract should be of sound mind. Persons who are mentally unstable or of unsound mind will not be capable of going into a contract. And the person who are disqualified by law to which they are subjected to will not be entitled to enter into any contract. Next comes the free consent. When two or more persons are said to consent to something in common in the same thing and in same sense will be called as free consent. Free consent will be free from coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation and mistake. This has been given in different sections of Indian Contract Act. Coercion is given in section 15, undue influence is given in section 16, fraud is given in section 17, misrepresentation is given in section 18 and mistakes have been dealt in the provision of section 20 to 22. Is the lawful object. The object for which the contract has been entered into must not be fraudulent or illegal or immoral or opposed to public policies. That means the object, like the house that I am selling right now to B, should be legal, should be lawful. That means not any illegality or immorality should not be attached to the property, or it should not be opposed to the public policy. Next one is possibility of performance. If the act is impossible in itself, physically or legally, it cannot be enforced by law. For example, Mr. A agrees to B to discover a treasure by magic. Magic is not possible, we know, and thus this contract is impossible to perform. Such agreements are not enforceable by law and thus will not be called as contract. The next one is the certainty of terms. The terms of the contract should be clear. In other words, if I say the contract must not be vague. Contracts which are vague cannot be enforced and thus they are not legal. Next element is that the agreement which are not declared expressively void. There are certain agreements which the law has said that these agreements are void. Thus, if your agreement doesn't fall in this category, then it will be valid. And if any agreement made by any parties fall in this category, then that will be declared as void. The last point is that of legal formalities. Oral contracts are also valid contracts. However, a contract must be in writing and should be registered. So, if it is required by law, for example, gift, mortgage, lease that are there under Transfer of Property Act, even the memorandum and article of association of a company under the Indian Companies Act. So, these were the various essential elements that are there in a contract. So, any party who are entering into the contract should fulfill all this essential so that their contract will be valid and accepted by law, and any infringement done by any other parties or any duties that the parties are not performing, then you can go to the court of law for any case of infringement. So that's it. Thank you.